Some of the most universally powerful forces are the warm and fuzzy feelings of romance. Longing, passion, and affection are some of the most driving human emotions. There's no wonder why romance is and always has been such a popular genre, from poetry to plays to movies. Romance anime is no different, offering its own expression of interior love and tension. The typical romance anime has a lot to offer, especially to young fans. But one thing it can be accused of is leading audiences along to the same payoff, at the same pacing, every time. It leads some to wonder what could come of romance anime if the narrative path were altered. You and I, Our Polar Opposites provides a look at that alternative route. Romance anime follows a formula of leaving viewers a path of crumbs to follow. This might mean brief and passing contact halfway through the season, or some kind of tension-building misunderstanding that carries on for a few episodes. It could also be a lone moment of hand-holding. Or it could be a confession stretched so thin it feels like it continues until the final episode. It moves the romantic elements of the story along, but very slowly. And while many great anime use this formula going forward, does it make for the best romantic tension when audiences have to wait so long for something they probably expected to happen anyway? You and I, Are Polar Opposites lives up to its name by being entirely different, doing something in fact that's almost radical for the genre. Characters say what they mean, early and clearly. Emotional honesty is nowhere close to a forbidden practice. That distinct candor changes everything. When a romance anime opts out of the will they, won't they crumb trail, it allows the story the freedom to expand upon multiple other paths. The delayed confession, the moment of clarity where both characters stop dancing around how they feel. That's usually the finish line. But so much more could come from the genre, and of course, maybe more season 2s, if we were lucky. But where is the intimacy? The romantic growth? You and I, Our Polar Opposites, might just answer that call. But before we dive into this any further, if you enjoy exploring anime through a cinematic lens, then be sure to like the video, tap the bell, and subscribe to the channel. That way, you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. From me, now, let's jump back into the romance. Romance anime did not invent longing, awkwardness, or misunderstandings, but it has absolutely turned them into the most recognizable storytelling tools. A lot of romance-oriented manga and anime, especially ones aimed at younger audiences, are built around first love, the confusion of liking someone, the fear of saying the wrong thing, the embarrassment of being seen too clearly. Shoujo manga is generally created for tween and teen girls, while shonen and shoujo alike are both targeted towards young readers, which is part of why these stories so often lean into the emotional volatility of being young and in love. And that is a huge part of why the romance genre's old engine works. The pauses, the almost confessions, the sentence that dies halfway out of someone's mouth, the misunderstanding that spirals because neither person really knows how to say what they mean. Those are relatable. They let the audience sit inside a specific kind of emotional insecurity that they identify with or once identified with. Romance anime has developed an entire visual and emotional language for that interiority too. Soft focus, idealized imagery, flowers, light, all visual shorthand for emotions that the characters can't say out loud yet. That is why silence and misunderstanding become such reliable tools. In a lot of romance stories, the audience understands the attraction long before the characters can even articulate it. So the tension comes from waiting for honesty to catch up with feeling. It gives every glance and every pause a little extra voltage. But it also means a lot of romance series are powered by emotional withholding. The relationship becomes the finish line, and the story keeps circling the moment when the two people finally say what the audience already figured out episodes ago. I'm sure you've noticed how often in manga and anime and romance adjacent spaces, they rely on misunderstandings and delayed clarity, which is why confession first stories can feel so refreshing when they show up. You and I are polar opposites is one of the most refreshing ones, using the moment where two characters confess their feelings as the starting point. The series follows cheerful, outgoing Suzuki, who's always trying to fit in, and the boy she's crushing on, her classmate Tani, who by contrast is quiet, blunt, and uninterested in what other people think. These polar opposites start out with small interactions. Suzuki blurting out random questions, Tani answering with his usual no-nonsense honesty. After a chance encounter following school, they agree to walk home together. And later, when a small misunderstanding spirals, Suzuki ends up confessing her feelings much earlier than she had ever planned. But instead of saving that moment for the finale, the show lets it happen right away in episode 1. There's still foreshadowing earlier in the episode. An accidental brush of their hands, a close-up shot of when Tani decides to hold her hand. There's humor woven into the awkward conversations. The episode still offers the slow emotional build-up romance fans expect. When Suzuki finally shouts her confession down the stairs, it still lands like a payoff. But instead of ending the story, that moment opens it all up. From there, the series keeps building the relationship in ways romance anime often delay or avoid. Their connection continues to grow through those small but unifying experiences. Your partner seeing you without makeup for the first time, going to fairs and gatherings, and even the introduction of Suzuki's first boyfriend. While such an encounter could have easily spiraled into a drawn-out love triangle or an argument, the show lets the characters talk through it. The tension resolves through reassurance and communication, rather than weeks of emotional stalemate. And because the relationship is allowed to exist openly, the story moves into spaces many romance anime save for the epilogue or don't even bother touching. Meeting each other's families, navigating insecurity, and learning how to be together, rather than simply wondering if they will. And that's what makes this feel like a structural break, instead of just a healthier or a wholesome romance. The awkwardness is still there. They're still young. They're still navigating all the weirdness that comes with liking someone for real. But the awkwardness doesn't stop the story in its tracks. It doesn't freeze the relationship in that unspoken tension. It's used to springboard the story in other directions. Misunderstandings push the character into conversations. Jealousy leads to reassurance. And embarrassment becomes another way Suzuki and Tani learn about each other. Romance anime fans may be familiar with one sense of tension, but here the tension is built on intimacy, of getting to know the one you love, which changes the emotional rhythm of the show. We, the audience, get to live inside the relationship, while it's still unsorted and new. Suzuki is still worried early on about what everyone thinks, especially Tani. And Tani is still learning how to navigate someone else's feelings. They're both awkward, they overthink, they stumble through conversations, but they move forward. That sense of movement is what makes the relationship feel alive and fresh. By establishing mutual emotional clarity early, it has room to explore the full scope of romance. Every conversation shifts something. Every moment changes the dynamic, even if it's just a little bit. We're watching two people figure out what it means to like each other. The will they, won't they structure works. It's sweet. It builds emotional tension week after week, and it pays off with emotional satisfaction. When a storytelling formula works that well, it tends to stick around. But You and I Are Polar Opposites reminds us that romance doesn't have to be reached via the same path, with the same dispersed stops along the way. You don't have to follow the same crumbs and misunderstandings. There are some times when the question is, will the two characters confess? But the more interesting question might be, what happens after they do? And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And now I want to hear from you. So tell me, do you prefer romance anime that build towards that confession? Or ones like you and I are polar opposite that explore the relationship after? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to be a part of future anime discussions through a cinematic lens, then be sure to like the video, tap the bell, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you all next time. Bye!